What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Darren Smith along with Steve Walls. We are here live inside the press box here at G.E.H.A Field at Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs will be hosting the AFC Divisional matchup. This is the main event of the weekend as they host the Buffalo Bills coming into town as the road to the Super Bowl now goes to Arrowhead Stadium, especially if Kansas City can pull it off in today's game, which kicks off at 5:30. Steve, what's going on with you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here. Yet again, another week, another playoff week. So, feels good. Weather's great. Sun is shining. It's going down now, but I think it's going to be a great night for football.
Speaking of which, of course, I know people are freaking out. We've seen many upsets taking place this weekend. The road teams are winning on yesterday's matchups between obviously Tennessee Titans falling to the Cincinnati Bengals, the Green Bay Packers falling to the San Francisco 49ers, and then of course, if you're currently watching the game and watching us as well, you see the Los Angeles Rams taking on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, leading them by two touchdowns, 27-13. So, Steve, when we look at today's matchup, the last time these two teams faced off was in Week 5. Kansas City lost to them 38-20. There were missing parts taking place for Kansas City. They didn't have Chris Jones. They didn't have Travarius Ward. Melvin Ingram was a Pittsburgh Steeler at the time, and the Chiefs gave up four turnovers in that ball game. The Buffalo Bills played pretty much the perfect game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and in the regular season, 38-20. Your thoughts on this matchup as we see it getting ready to get underway in about 53 minutes or so?
It's just a classic rematch, man. We've seen how last year we saw the Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the beginning of the season, right during regular season, and then go on and play them in the Super Bowl. And what happened? The Buccaneers were able to figure out a way to win. They were able to figure out and take away things that the Chiefs did well, which is classic from seeing a team early on in the season. I think that's what. That's what the Chiefs are going to be able to do today. I mean, Andy Reid is a guy that we all know is able to, when he has time to prepare for a team, he pulls rabbits out of his hat, right? He's able to do things that we've never seen before, and I think that's going to be key for today for this Chiefs team is to be able to come out here and do some stuff that we haven't seen before. Look, we've heard Anthony Hitchens say that the defense is totally different from Week 5. They have things that they don't even run that they haven't run before, early on in the season, and a lot of things that they ran in that Week 5 matchup versus these Bills, they're not going to be running today. They haven't run it all the rest of the season, and which is rightfully so. I mean, we all saw the Daniel Sorensen 3 touchdown giveaway, right? It was a gift to the Buffalo Bills, and we saw the emoji that Tyrann Mathieu did with his hands up in there, like what's going on. So I don't think we're going to see Daniel Sorensen out on that island today, and I also don't think that we'll see Travarius Ward on the island as well.
Buffalo comes into this game with a 12-6 record. Chiefs are 13-5. This is the fifth playoff meeting between both teams. They split respectively. Last time these two teams played in the playoffs, of course, was last year around this time, where the Chiefs had knocked them off 38-24 to advance to the second straight Super Bowl appearance. Now, Steve, looking at the playoff record of these teams, Buffalo is one game under 500. The Chiefs 4 games under 500. Both of those looking for their first Super Bowl win, their third championship overall. Chiefs looking for their third Super Bowl title with their fourth championship overall. The last time, again, in last week in the postseason, started off in the wild card game. The Buffalo was victorious over the Patriots, 47-17. The Chiefs, 42-21 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the first time in NFL history that two quarterbacks from opposing teams have met in the divisional round where both players passed for 5 touchdowns. What are we looking forward to in this matchup between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? Where if you listen to the TV and analysts, and of course you and I are both radio, so we're not gonna put ourselves in the category. But everybody's saying that if they were to start a franchise, they would choose Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but look, the things that Patrick Mahomes has done in his early career, right? No one else has done. People said that it's always about the shiny new toy. Josh Allen is, of course, a bigger guy. Was he 6'5", around 230 pounds, able to run the ball and also fling the ball 40, 50 yards down the field. So I think people are going to say that, but then once you get out there and you see what a Patrick Mahomes is able to do, he's like, hey, hold my beer, right? So I don't see it. Anthony Hitchens compared earlier this week compared Josh Allen to Cam Newton. I think running style, yes, but not arm. I think Josh Allen has a little bit better arm than Cam Newton had. But I think toughness, though, I think Cam was a little bit more tougher than Josh Allen. Had a little bit more swag too. So that comparison is kind of I don't like it, but. Josh Allen today, I think is we're going to see what he's made of, and he's not going to be able. And here, look, when I'm thinking about it, I think Josh Allen until he's able to win the big game, you can't. There's no comparison to Patrick Mahomes until he's able to win the big one, and once he does, then you can kind of say, all right, I'll take Josh Allen.
Definitely agree with that. Of course, when you look at his stats, Allen was threw for 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Mahomes, 4,800 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions. Look, coming into today's game, the Chiefs will get back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We expect him to be in the starting lineup. Of course, remember last week's game, Jerick McKinnon was the star of that game with a combination of 142 yards catching and running the football. Steve, when we look at this, Buffalo, they've clinched the AFC East for the second consecutive season, and this is their fourth time making the playoffs in the last 5 years. The Chiefs, of course, they are winners of the AFC West for the sixth straight year. Andy Reid, of course, has led this team to two straight Super Bowls. Is there more pressure on Kansas City or Buffalo to win today's game?
I would say it's more pressure on Buffalo. Buffalo hasn't gotten there.
Really?
You just talked about people are saying are saying that they would take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. So of course, rightfully so. There's going to be more pressure on Josh Allen. Like I said, until he's able to win and beat Patrick Mahomes, they know what it felt like last year when they lost the AFC Championship game here in Arrowhead Stadium. What was it? Stephon Diggs that stayed out and watched the confetti fall as the Chiefs host. That raised the Lamar Hunt Trophy. So I think definitely is a lot more pressure on this Buffalo Bills team. I mean, you make it to like I said, the AFC Championship game last year, make it to the divisional game this year, and it's still like Patrick Mahomes is the big brother. Patrick Mahomes has won the regular season MVP, won the Super Bowl MVP, and you're still looking like, man, from the outside looking in, it's like, all right, let me into that elite club, and until he's able to win, there's going to be way more pressure on him. The Chiefs and Andy Reid are playing with house money right now. Andy's got what was the big thing that was said about Andy? All right, he can't win the big game. Well, he's won it, and now it's just like, shoot, I've won it. I've already done what I needed to do in my career. Patrick Mahomes as well. So now it's just like, let's just go try to win another one.
Scoring update or lack thereof, the Los Angeles Rams missed a field goal, so the Bucks will get the ball in good field territory as they look to try to race a two touchdown deficit against the Rams in the divisional matchup where either you win or you go home. Look, to the point that you were just making, I believe the pressure's on Kansas City
Mm.
because Kansas City has already been there, done that, and they're expected to win. Again, they are the Vegas favorite. Now, granted, all the other quote unquote favorites have lost thus far or losing thus far this weekend. Kansas City, because they've been in this scenario before where they've hosted the last three AFC championship games, because of the experience, I do think the pressure is on them to not only win the game, but to at least have a good showing in today's game. Obviously, the amount of energy that was expended by Buffalo last week to get past their own hurdle in the New England Patriots may have taken a lot out of them. Look, I mean, they scored 7 touchdowns on 7 straight possessions. They might use up all their chips there, but they're going to come. But they're going to come ready to play. There are a lot of Bills fans already trying to pack up the stadium right now. So, look, we'll get to some of the X
A
factors.
lot of Bills fans here
It
today.
is a lot of Bills fans, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you what the X factor is when it comes to Chiefs fans a little bit later. But looking at this game, Steve, we've got players. Now we also have players that wasn't playing for Kansas City last year that's playing in this game that want to advance and get to their first AFC Championship game. You're looking at Orlando Brown. You're looking at Trey Smith. You're looking at the rookie Creed Humphreys. You're looking at Lucas Niang. Of course, Joe Thuney, he's played in Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, but he wants to get there as well. So, they have a lot of players. Melvin Ingram, I mean, we talked to him this week. We know how important today's game means for him because he
Hmm.
wants to get to the AFC Championship game to have a chance to get to Super Bowl to play in his old stadium at SoFi Stadium. When we look at this matchup, we know that Buffalo, they're top five both offense and defense. They have the top ranked defense. Now, because the Chiefs are going to have different players on the defensive side of the ball, I want to look at Buffalo on the offensive side of the football. How do the Chiefs, with Chris Jones, Travarius Ward, Melvin Ingram now playing this game, Daniel Sorensen playing a lesser amount? He will play, but of course he's not going to start in this game like he did in Week 5. How does the defense adjust to what we have seen since Week 5 with the Buffalo Bills, and especially with what we saw last week against the Patriots with the Buffalo Bills?
Look, I think this defense team for the Chiefs, looking at that side of the ball, they've been able to go from really zero to heroes. With the addition of Melvin Ingram, Melvin has revitalized, so to speak, this defense where they're not just going through the motions. And I think looking at what Spags has been able to do, there's been some growing pains this season. I mean, we looked at the Cincinnati Bengals game. Spags had zero blitz and sent everybody right. It left Travarius Ward on the island, and what happened? The Cincinnati Bengals were able to come out victorious. So I think um, Spags understands what's at stake. And they've watched Josh Allen run up and down the field. They watched Josh Allen throw the ball to Stephon Diggs, to Knox, and to Singletary, who the first few games of the 12 games of the season was a no show, and now he's been able to kind of find some life going into the playoffs. So I think they've been able to the Chiefs on their defensive side of the ball are going to be able to do what some other teams haven't been able to do, and that's get after Josh Allen. I mean, you have Chris Jones in the middle of the field. You're going to have uh, the two defensive ends, Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram, and then everything else is going to take care of itself. So as long as the back end holds up well, I think this game is going to be meant for the Chiefs to win.
One of the special players that the Chiefs are going to have to give special attention to is going to be wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Of course, we saw he had a decent game against Kansas City. Excuse me, against Kansas City last year. Kansas City, though, the Chiefs have had issues, trying to defend wide receivers, especially great wide receivers one on one. I don't know if they're going to give Travarius Ward help or if they're going to allow him to play
You
one on
have to.
one.
You have to.
Yeah, but one thing that we've seen Buffalo improve on since week 5 is their run game.
Mhm.
Now, Josh Allen was the leading rusher in that game, but last week Devin Singletary rushed for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they have relied more so on the running game with their running backs more so than Josh Allen with his legs. But he can still kill you with his legs now if you're not careful. So how do the Chiefs defend against that run game, especially when you know now that they got a couple of two-headed monsters in the backfield?
It's going to start up front. I think I saw someone post about Willie Gay being a spy. I don't really think you need to have a spy on Josh Allen. I think you just play him straight up. Play him how you played the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs last year. Remember, all of the hype was on Derrick Henry coming in here and running up and down the field, and what the Chiefs what were they able to do? They were able to stop the run. That was what they keyed on. And I think when they're at home, this defense is different, man. We've seen these guys, like I said earlier, go from zeros to heroes, and they just play with a different type of energy here inside of Arrowhead Stadium. When that crowd is rocking, that music is going, and I think, man, it's a sight to see, and it's a different feeling too. Just being up here watching them.
On the defense side of the ball for the Chiefs, want to say congratulations to Tyrann Matthews. He won the fans' vote for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. So the league will donate $25,000 to his
Congratulations.
charitable foundation. So we wish him all the best in that, and of course, good luck to him for the obviously the league Man of the Year award. Looking ahead at this, Steve, on the offensive side of the football for the Chiefs, Travis Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. What type of performance are you expecting of them? Granted, look, when the lights are on and you want to shine bright, This is the type of game that you expect them to play big, and play their best at, especially knowing what's at stake.
Man, I think look, Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill are definitely going to be able to do their own thing today. But I like to see those other guys. We saw them last week. We saw them Cole Hardman, Demarcus
Well,
Robinson.
I was going to get there, Steve. But I want to talk about them right quick just
Yeah,
before you go
but
there.
they kind of work hand in hand because with those guys playing so well last week, it opens up things. It opens up to where Patrick is like, all right, I can trust these other guys. I can trust McCole. I'm able to if they're taking over, if they're taking Tyreek out of the game as far as no over the top looks, Miko may be open for an over the top look. Byron Pringle is able to make though. We've seen Byron make some tough catches this season. And also, Demarcus Robinson, he's been quiet so early on in the season, but he's been able to come through these past couple weeks. So I think Travis, he has to get off. I saw someone said he has to get off to a high start. I think so as well. After COVID, he's been kind of quiet. This was an up and down season for him. He was still able to get over 1,000 yards. So if Travis gets to rolling, man, this offense is gonna be unstoppable.
Well, and that's one of the things I was going to go with as it relates to, as it relates to what you were talking about with the other players, because, yes, Kay, we're going to get to that part as well. Okay, see, she's already reading my mind. But one of the things that I like about what Patrick has been doing, especially these last couple of weeks, is that with the McCole, DeMarcus, Byron, all of them getting involved in the course to a lesser extent, the running backs, it's forcing the defense to stay honest, Steve, because what
Hmm.
you're doing is you can't just focus on Tyreek and Kelsey, because Patrick has enough trust in the other receivers and the other players that he's not afraid to let them, what I'm saying, to let them shine. And if they are shining, what's going to happen is they're going to start shifting focus, and then by that time he's
Yeah,
already off and running. What I'm
yeah.
saying, with Tyreek and Travis. And then the other thing as well, for you go on, Steve. The other thing as well is that what you see is, even when they have them kind of double covered or whatever, they have some of the receivers covered. What it does, it opens up their field, and Patrick has shown he's not afraid to run.
And speaking of running, look, the running backs have been playing very well. Jerick McKinnon he got the RB1 carries last week, and I think he's playing with confidence. Also, Darrell Williams, I like Darrell. I like Darrell better than I do Clyde. Honestly, I don't think that Clyde is utilized as he should be. He's not utilized as he was at LSU, being able to catch the ball in space and make a move and go. I think with the addition of Jerick McKinnon and also Derek Gore, these running backs, they're also going to make them play honest. Look, if you sit back and play, you can sit back and play the pass if you want to, but look, Jerick McKinnon has been able to make a first move, make a guy miss and go, and that was good that they were able to put that on film.
And we just see somehow, some way, the Rams, Bucks just got the ball back there. They're squandering opportunities at the moment, Steve, to get the ball into the end zone for them to have a chance to at least get back into the ball game. Now, one of the things that I'm interested in, Steve, is you talked about the running backs. Clyde was is returning in today's ball game, but how much do you expect to see of him, and then how much, based off of what we saw last week, do you see Jerick McKinnon playing a role in today's game?
Look, I don't.
I
The
got you
Chiefs.
speechless.
No, no. Look, I've been saying this. The Chiefs are going to try to save face.
Yeah.
Clyde it was a first round pick. Look, you don't want to seem like, oh, well, you wasted a pick on a first round running back, but so far he hasn't really been that good. He had two last year. He had two good games, 100-yard games, but after that, he's been injured or he hasn't played well.
Yeah.
So I think these other running backs, the Darrell Williams and Jerick McKinnon, if Clyde gets i- i- look, I know Clyde reads the blogs and reads and hears social media and hears what people are saying. So he has to have a good game. His best game was 3 weeks ago. Out of the 2 years that he's been with the Chiefs. So um I just don't see Clyde being able to do much today. I feel like it has to go to those other guys.
Well, the the one thing I see in oh, Tom Brady with a touchdown pass. Wow.
Yeah.
27-19 with a chance to cut it down to just 7 with the extra point. upcoming.
Yeah, you can never count Tom Brady out. I don't know if you guys are watching, listening to us, or watching us on social media, and then also watching the phone if you're at home. I mean, watching your TV screen if you're at home. Tom Brady just threw a touchdown pass, down 3 touchdowns. He's now cut it to a 1 touchdown game with 3:20 left in the fourth quarter.
Go doing goldish things. But see, look, but again, as we talked about with the wide receivers or the running back situation, even if Clyde, you know, I think he'll get his touches and he'll get the opportunity to do whatever. But I do like the fact that the Chiefs, all the running backs aside, and they can hit you in different ways. Like you can play Clyde and you can play him in limited snaps or whatever, and it's not really like a demotion, so to speak, because now you can hit him. You can hit him. You can use Clyde on the outside in the passing game. You can use Jarek, of course, in both the run and the
But
pass
how
game.
healthy is he?
Well, again, not that part obviously remains to be seen. Now he may be on the snap count, pitch count, but this is what I expect. I don't expect him to do what the Tennessee Titans did, where they were trying to feature Derrick Henry and force feed him the ball and keep him involved like that. If he can't go, or if they feel, I think this time around they will feel the flow of the ball game, and if Clyde can't go. I don't think they're going to have any problems with kind of sitting them, letting them rest until next week, and going with Jerry McKinnon, because McKinnon and Gore and others have shown that they can, that they can handle the workload, and they can, when the numbers called, they can perform.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, let's see what Clyde has. I don't start him. I just don't.
That
But
is,
but I mean, granted, and like I said, you have to save face. He's your RB1. He's the one who you've selected in the first round of last season. So do what got you here. That's I can say that. Just do what you've been doing and don't try to change things up.
we present you the Chiefs Kansas City cheat sheet. Steve Walls, Darren Smith. We are live inside the press box at Arrowhead Stadium. Kickoff is a little over a half hour away. Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Buffalo Bills right here inside Arrowhead Stadium in the final divisional matchup, the divisional round game of the NFL this weekend, where the winner will host the AFC Championship game. So either be Buffalo hosting Cincinnati, or what we hope for the Cincinnati Bengals to come to Kansas City on next week with a trip to Los Angeles in the Super Bowl on the line. Steve, one of the things that we have to watch out for in talking about the Chiefs offense, again, you got to look at the defensive side of football for the Buffalo Bills. They have the number one ranked defense.
Hmm.
Micah Hyde, their defensive coordinator is former Vikings head coach Leslie Frazier. What should the Chiefs watch out for as it relates to that defense? Because that defense has only gotten better since week 5.
Yeah, and we saw Micah Hyde last week. He had an amazing interception.
Yes.
Uh, to I think that changed the ball game, honestly.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But look, the Chiefs are going to still be able to do what they're going to do because look, all the attention is going to be geared towards Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey. Those other guys, it was very important for them last week to be able to put some good film out there because now it's like in the back of your mind, Byron Pringle's going to be able to make that catch. That Mecole Hardman can beat you deep. So I think with that being
Oh wow.
said,
Tampa Bay they got the ball back. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I think with that being said, you understand what's at stake, and you look, it's go big or go home, and that's
Uh,
what it is.
this is this. Hey, look, for people who are watching the game and watching us as well. It's when to go home, Steve. And look,
Yeah,
you can never, as you said, going to the fourth quarter, you can never count the goat out. And look,
that was
just
good
rip,
defense.
just great defense. Just
That was
rip the
good
ball right
defense.
out, and they plop right on it. Make sure that didn't give the offense a chance to recover. It's great defense by the Rams.
And,
Look,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. As we saw the Rams just turn the ball over, that was the Chiefs' mo early on in the season. They turned the ball over a lot, and I really do believe, even with those guys that you mentioned that were out in that first Week 5 matchup, the Chiefs were still able to stay in the game, even though they gave up those 3 deep passes. They took away what the Bills did best, which was deep balls. And
and they got great field position too.
they
My
do. They
gosh,
do. They took away
they
those.
got
They took
great
away
field
those deep
position.
balls to Emmanuel Sanders, and also Stephon Diggs. So I think if they're able to do that today, they're going to be fine. If the Chiefs get off to a fast start, man, it's a AFC Championship game.
See, one of the things that we like to talk about, and you gave me credit for not really dwelling on it much this season, is the fact that the Chiefs like to defer a lot.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, how important is it going to be? Look, depending on whoever has the ball first, because I think you gave a percentage, I think Monday during the red hour,
Hmm.
about how the Chiefs, the percentage of them winning when they score first. Now, because they, of course, you only defer the football unless the other team wins, and they decide to defer.
Yeah.
You're looking at Buffalo getting the ball first. Now, if Buffalo gets the ball first, of course, Kansas City, and if the defense can't stop them, now you're kind of playing from behind. Do you see in this particular game, Kansas City or Andy Reid coaching and doing things a little bit more differently to where he's taking chances that he normally wouldn't take in a regular season game?
No, as far as deferring, I don't. I
No,
think
no, no. I'm sorry, not the front, but just like going forward on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Because you remember in the first quarter, he didn't go for it on 4th and 1 when they were
right.
midfield, and I was kind of like, seriously, you got the best player against the Steelers, and you're not going to go for it. Do you see him going for it if it's like that situation here against Buffalo?
I don't know. That's a good question. Here's the thing about Andy.
That's fine.
Like I said, he was able to win in Super Bowl, right? He was able to do it with people said he couldn't do, and he took some chances to get that. Now, will he be conservative? I don't think he will. I think they didn't come this far to not play like they should. Andy is one of those people who he's not going to do what you expect him to do. He's not gonna look if you think he's gonna say, all right, Andy, run the ball, run the clock out. What is he gonna do? He's gonna go out there and throw a pass, or he's gonna like you said, maybe they should pull Patrick out in a couple of those games. No, he's gonna keep Patrick in and keep the wheels turning. So I think Andy has learned. He's been in this league a long time. He's learned. From some of the best, and I think he's one of the best at what he does. He and also Eric Bieniemy. So I feel like this team is they're gonna be fine today, man. It's I just can't wait till the kick this ball is kicked off.
Speaking of kicking off, we are 28 minutes away from kickoff, and with that, Steve, I've got to know, what's your X factor in tonight's ball game?
The X factor today, I think, it's who I call the others, right? It is not the Chris Joneses, it's not the Frank Clarks, it's not the the starters. It's those guys that you're going to bring in that when the starters need a break, you're going to have a guy like Tershawn Ward and Alex Okafor, Mike Dana. Those guys are going to have to keep their foot on the pedal so that there's no drop off when the starters eh, are knee out for a breather. You're going to have the others like Miko Hardman, be a Byron Pringle. You're going to have Demarcus Robinson, those guys who aren't looked at as the legit number two. You're going to have those guys that's going to have to come out here and play well. And so um, I feel like it's just going to be the others that have to step up and help this team win today.
All right, so look, I'm gonna tell you my X factor. My X factor in this ball game um, has to be the fans. The 12th man
Mm,
has to be Arrowhead crowd.
mm,
I said it to say that, Steve, is that, look, there it's not too often that you rely, where home field advantage has to be home field advantage. If there
yeah.
ever was a time where that 142.2 decibel sound needs to be in effect, it is today's game. I'm telling you, I think it's imperative for Chiefs fans, every time Josh Allen is about to line up underneath the center, you get that 142.2 so the man can't hear anything, where he has to back up, he has to utilize his timeouts, he has to do whatever it takes because he can't hear.
Yeah.
Steve, I wanted to come to the point where we go back to the days of Monday Night Football, where the Broncos play the Chiefs, where they were in the end zone, and the referee threatened the Chiefs with the 15-yard penalty because the crowd wouldn't be quiet. That's what I think needs to happen in today's game. If the fans can be loud like that, trust and believe, going to be easy. Now, that being said, let's go to our predictions. Who you got? What's your score and why?
I have the Chiefs. I think it's going to be as long as they get out to a quick start. It's not going to be a blowout by any means, but I think the Chiefs will win by a touchdown. Um, I believe it'll be 35-28 somewhere in there, 35-27. Um, but the Chiefs have to get to the 30-point mark. They do. This is one of those games where you can't come out here and piddle paddle around and have McCole Hardman lining up to under center. That's just not going to happen. I think you need to come out here and play bully ball, so to speak, and show them why you have been to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years.
Yeah, and look, and you definitely can't have a slow start like you did against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, of course, those of you who are watching the game, we're kind of keeping one eye on the game and keeping one eye on the show. The Rams lead the Bucks by 7. Timeout looks like it's been called by the Rams. 27-20, 45 seconds left to go in the ball game. We'll see whether or not the GOAT can do goatish things. It's the Rams' second timeout. Steve, now look, one thing I will say before I give my prediction is that you know, Chiefs, they can't afford turnovers. They can't afford a slow start. They can't afford to allow the Bills to come out, score, and then the Chiefs don't score. And if Bills come out and score, Chiefs they got to do whatever it takes to come out and score.
Yeah.
I will say I do have the Chiefs winning. Got them winning 38-24. I think I think it's going to be imperative for the Chiefs, especially if they can get a 2-touchdown lead. They're going to have to build on it, especially with what took place in Cincinnati. No lead is safe, whether you're the Chiefs or anyone else in the NFL. It's kind of like the NBA last year where the three-point shot, was able to, win a lot of ball games for people. I think Kansas City, if they can score, they got to have the same mentality that they had last week and that the Bills had the week before as well. Got to keep scoring every time you get the football, and don't look. Man, if you feel like you got to blow them out, you got to blow them out, Steve. I mean, you can't. You got to keep keep your foot on their necks because you don't want to take any chances. I mean, we look the Rams. They had a 27-3 or 20. I mean, they had a 3-touchdown lead.
But the Rams gave up 17 against San Francisco.
Exactly, and we
So,
we see where things are going right now. So we don't want to have that. So you don't want to have that happen. So got the Chiefs winning 37-20. I'm sorry, 38-24. And one other thing too, you don't want the defense to become a verb in tonight's game. You don't want them being Sorensen because of what happened the last time around. So with that being said, Steve, before we get out of here, you looking clean and dapper, young man. Give a shout out to your sponsors, man.
Want to thank you to my friends over at Dillard's who always keep my game day look right. Dillard's Zona Rosa. Just go out there and holler at them. A couple of people have sent me messages, say, "Hey man, how can I find out who to talk to out of Dillard's?" Go out there and talk to Jeff. Go out there and talk to Jeff and also Ashley. They'll take care of you. That's Dillard's Zona located at Zona Rosa.
And of course, I'd like to give a shout out to Todd White and Todd's Clothier and Taylor Suits. I came in, I had ESPN Sal Palantonio and Mitch Holt just told me, "Hey, man, I like the jacket, man. You got to come off of." I said, "No, you can go see Toddy. You can go get your own jacket." So I want to give a shout out to them. Of course, they're located at 2 locations, 21st and Broadway, as well as the Ward Parkway Mall off of 85th and State Line. Go out there. You can get you suited and booted. And I also want to give a shout out to Gates Barbecue. Look, Chiefs, Gates Barbecue. Don't get enough. I mean, only combination that's better than that is Mahomes to Kelsey or Mahomes to Hill. That's the only combination that's better than Gates Barbecue and Chiefs football. That being said, 5 locations around the metro area. Look, you can get their double deuce at all the locations. There's 2 ribs, baked beans, and another side for $12.50. They also have wing specials at the one on Linwood and Main. So if you want a 3 wing pack, and it's about to be a tie ball game. My God Almighty! So, hey, that's the goat doing goat things, Steve.
Man.
That's what you said. So that be, wow, see, and they're showing it on the big screen here in Kansas City. So Gates Barbecue, 5 locations. Make sure you go out and get it. If you want the wing pack, wing tray, or the ring platter, go over to Linwood in Maine. Tell them we sent you. That being said, for Steve Walls, I am Darren Smith. Make sure you join us post game on our respective channels as we bring you the Chiefs addressing the media on our Zoom call. And then, of course, when the Chiefs win, Steve and I will be back next week right here at Arrowhead Stadium. Make sure you join us tomorrow night, though. Tomorrow night on 18th and Vine at the Sore's Steak and Oyster House for the Red Hour. Steve Walls, myself, DJ Sean Tyler, as we recap tonight's game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Now, that being said, game is tied at 27 apiece between the Rams and the Bucks. For us, we are out of here. Go Chiefs.